The menstrual cycle, it's a vital part of our female body, and we get maybe 40 minutes of simple education when we're at school. There's a lot of shame that's been put on us by society for feeling or for having certain things on our body. So having a period is just being shamed by society.
Hello guys, and welcome to another podcast. I'm really excited to bring on our guest today. She is a holistic menstrual coach for women, which I have no clue what that is. So I'm going to ask her straight what it actually means. But I'm really excited to bring Jaime on. She's a friend and she lives on the island on Koh Phangan. And we're going to have a conscious conversation over a coconut, which she's already spilt on the floor. Jaime, how's it going, mate?
Amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, great. Happy to be here.
Amazing.
With coconut beneath my feet.
We're literally covered in coconut on our feet and there's now ants crawling everywhere. But how fascinating. They're so quick. They're just everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know where they came from. It's incredible.
They're all over your feet and your toes.
Massage on my feet.
It's like, when you put your feet, I've never done it, but when you put your toes in, the little fish nibble all the things. Yeah. That's what we've got now. We've got the vegans are not going to like this. So, what is a woman's holistic menstrual coach? That was such a tongue tie, guys. It took me a while to get that one.
You are adding things to it. It sounds very luxurious now.
What is it exactly?
What is it? It's a good question. So I see most of my role is about educating women on something that we just haven't been educated on. The menstrual cycle. It's a vital part of our female body, and we get maybe 40 minutes of simple education when we're at school in sex ed, and that is about it. And I try to fill that gap, basically, and help women understand what is our cycle, why we should pay attention to it, what is normal, what is not. This is something that it's a taboo topic. We don't talk about our period. We don't talk about menstruation. And it also covers the realm of birth control. So this is a big topic, again, that we just so uneducated about. So I try to help women make informed decisions about their female body so that they can feel more free in their choices.
Why do you think it is so taboo? Why, it fascinates me that the main things that we don't get taught as children, like thinking, feeling, emotions, menstrual cycles and periods and sex, they're the things that are probably the most important in life. But we get, like you say, an hour's class at school, and it's all giggly, and the teacher's and then that's it, it's over. And then most people suffer and struggle in life. So why do you think it is taboo in the first place? Is it just the way it is?
Well, I think there's probably many theories for that. But I think the shame, I think that there's a lot of shame that's been put on us by society for feeling or for having certain things on our body or needing to look a certain way, or so having a period is just being shamed by society in some way. It's don't tell anyone that you're bleeding. Don't tell anyone that you need a sanitary thing, women will just pop something up their sleeve and shuffle off to the toilet and not tell anyone and hide it in the bin. And so it's just, I think, another layer of shame that has been put on us. And it's just widely misunderstood. Yeah. When
you say misunderstood then, so what's your view of it if it's misunderstood? You've got obviously a different view of the cycle.
Yeah, so I think the way that women perceive having a period is an inconvenience, that it holds us back from carrying on and doing all the things we want to do, because typically when we're menstruating, we have lower physical energy levels. And so, or if we go back to the earlier days when women were in tribes, this would be a time that they would go and sit together and bleed together, and it would usually be synced up with the moon. And so during this time, there would be a red tent or a moon lodge or something like this, where the women would go and sit and bleed and vision and pray and sing and release and cleanse. Because the veil at this time is said to be at its thinnest. So it is the time when you can more directly receive wisdom or connect to source or spirit, whatever you refer to her as. So this time can be very potent. One way I try to help women connect to that is just, if you are already meditating, to notice how easy or how much easier it is during this time of bleeding to drop into meditation. It's usually deeper and quicker to drop into stillness, because there is lower levels of hormones during this time. So there is a more stillness biologically happening in our body. And there is this downward energetic flow during the time of menstruation. So if we think about yoga and the flow of apana, where energy is going down, so it's very grounding, it's quite dense. And so during this time, it is easier to drop into that stillness. And so, okay, why is that a gift? If you are spiritual, I think it's a gift from that perspective. But even on a more physical level, it is a reset for our nervous system. It is a reset for our emotional system. When we are bleeding, we're not only physically releasing menstrual flow, but we're actually releasing emotions too. So if women have ever, if you just take a moment to think, have I cried on my period? Is that more of a common time that I would be more emotional? Usually the answer is yes, because we are cleansing energetically and emotionally too.
And we live in a society in a way which gets us not to feel and have these emotions.
Yes.
That's fascinating that you said that women would go off into tents and they would do this together. Like, look at society now, that is so far.
So far.
Far away, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you do as a coach then? Like, how do you help people? No, I'm just curious. Like you say, what do you coach them through? Because I remember years ago when we first met was in, I'm not sure it was when we first met, but we used to sit in a coffee shop called Deli Devi. It's a chocolate and cheese, vegan chocolate and cheese place, right? And we'd be on different tables working, and every now and then we'd have a bit of banter and have a laugh with each other, and other people would come in. And I remember, I don't know if he was talking to me or he was talking to somebody else, but that's what I loved about you, how you just said it was a gift. Because some people don't see it as a gift. And I imagine people that are in the Western world at the moment, which are not on Kopeng Yang meditating and chanting and seeing it as a gift, like it is pretty stressful for them. And, you know, there's all the relationship stuff, there's all the work stuff, they've got children and mouths to feed, blah, blah, blah. So it must be, that to me, when you said it was a gift, I was like, wow, that is so far. This is why I love Kopeng Yang, because we think so differently, all people that are here, compared to this normal narrative, which is kind of keeping people stuck in it. So like, how do you coach people? Do you get them to see that this is a gift and embrace it, or?
I mean, this is just one of the many things that I cover in my role. But if we focus on this point, sure. So I find that change happens through awareness and exploration. So first of all, I educate and share a lot of this information that helps people think, oh, okay, that's different. Let me explore that. And let me now have awareness when I next have a period and see. So like, firstly, women don't even know that it's normal to feel lower on energy and emotional. They feel like they shame themselves for that and feel that they shouldn't be doing that. So let's take away those shoulds and shouldn'ts and just see what's really there during that time. And then I love to offer this 1% rule. So when you're next on your period, not you, Brett, but women.
I've got a follow-up question, so we'll come back to Brett in a minute.
When you're next on your period, see if you can slow down by 1%. See if you can take stillness in your day. Find just 1% more stillness in your day and see how that feels. And usually when women play this experiment game, they notice that it feels nourishing and that's what they actually want to do. And so then it's like, okay, how can we craft a life where you can play on that 1% and eventually make it 5% and then 10% and maybe 20% just during these moments of menstruation. So, you know, I actually have a funny story. I'm super, super aware of the reality and the world that people are living in. I also used to work in a corporate world, right? And at the time, I was suffering with some health stuff and I went and saw an Ayurvedic doctor. And he said to me, okay, I want you to rest for the first 3 days on your period. I want you to just stay in bed, relax and rest. And I was like, I work in a law firm. I am a very, very busy woman. How do you expect me to do this? It felt like the most impractical advice to receive. So I'm happy I had that experience because I can always keep that in my mind when I'm helping women move through this, because that isn't practical. So we have to find something that is in between that.
Did you go off and take those days off?
Absolutely not.
That is, which is really, when you come back to like the bigger picture, what we're talking about, that is what the Matrix has kind of done. It's like we don't stop. whether you're on your cycle or whether it's guys feeling stressed out and they need to rethink their purpose or they're feeling a bit lost in life, like the best thing to do is be still and chill. But the world is so, or the society, not the world, the system is so opposite that, right? Keep on going, push through it.
Yeah.
You got to get up. You got to get your kind of like money at the end of the week. It's mad. Coming back to Brett, you said if I'm not on my period, because obviously I'm not going to have a period because I identify as a man. But do you think men have cycles and moods with like the moon and with other energies that are in the universe? Because I can definitely say that I feel like I have cycles when it's a full moon.
Right.
Obviously I don't bleed.
Yeah.
But there's definitely shifts of energy and emotion going on.
Yeah, very much. So there's many different cycles. We have our circadian rhythm, which is the 24-hour cycle, like the sleep cycle, right? So we wake up in the morning with more energy usually, and then by the time of the evening, we're lower energy. And so this is one cycle. Then we have the infradian rhythm, which is the moon cycle. Yeah, so the moon goes from a dark moon all the way to a full moon and then back down. And this is usually over about 28, 29 days. Then we have the external seasons, they're their own rhythms, and we have our hormonal cycles. So a man's hormonal cycle is also like the circadian rhythm, 24 hours. Okay, so you wake up with a rise of testosterone, and it increases as you get towards lunchtime, and then it starts to fall throughout the day, and by evening your testosterone levels are at their lowest, and you wake up in the morning and it starts again. So your hormonal cycle is linked and synced with your sleep cycle. For a woman, her hormonal cycle is like the moon. So it's about 28, 29 days. So she goes from menstruation towards ovulation. And then I think I have an ant on my face now.
Brilliant.
It's worked all its way up.
They're everywhere.
So yeah, we have the dark moon, which usually represents the time of menstruation, and then it leads up to full moon, which is usually the time of ovulation, and then back down. So what's different between a man and woman is that our hormonal cycles are synced up differently. We are synced up more with the moon. So we have, as a woman, two separate cycles operating, right? The sleep cycle happening every day, but then the moon cycle. And the man's is synced at the same time. However, we are, as human beings, made up of what, like 70% water, something like this.
Yeah.
And the moon,
coconut water now.
No.
Someone spilled coconut water over
coconut
us.
water and ants, well. And the moon moves water. You know, if we look at the tides, the ocean, you'll see like full moon, it's full power waves, higher tides, and dark moon, it's stillness and lower tides. So yes, of course, a man would feel to some degree that energy influenced by the moon. I think it depends how sensitive you are, and I think it also depends on how much you're actually out in nature versus indoors behind screens.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. You said awareness, right? For me, everything is all about awareness. Awareness of the ants crawling all over us.
I'm going to just surrender to that.
And tickle your toes. But yeah, everything comes back to awareness. For me, what I noticed when I was trying to give up habits and addictions, if I'm honest, I would have like a calendar on my wall, and every time I succeeded, you know, I beat the habit, so to speak, I'd have a smiley face. And every time I relapsed, I would put like a cross, and then I'd have to start again. And for me personally, that just really helps me with habits and addictions, so I can track and measure, you know, my success, and I wouldn't call it a failure, but where I can just learn, and then I can investigate and become aware of, oh, okay, you know, what was I thinking? You know, when I relapsed, who was I with? What was I doing? And so I've done this with many different habits and addictions. But one thing that fascinated me in the last several years is when I was doing it, I noticed that I would relapse more, like literally the day before the full moon.
Ooh,
Yeah, and it was because it was just, I had so much energy. At a time, I didn't have this awareness that I've got now. I didn't know what to do with it. And so I would kind of like go and use it, but maybe in self-sabotaging or unconstructive ways. I'd self-destruct a little bit. And then when I looked, literally I'm getting goosebumps now. I looked at the calendar, I was like, And if I'm honest, I'd be one of those guys years ago, full moon, yeah, okay, whatever, like you hippies. And when I looked at the calendar, it was like spot on. Every time it got to the full moon, there was a cross where I'd relapse. I was like, wow. And so then when I became aware of that, obviously awareness, then you've got more opportunity to change. I would sit with it and I could feel this uncontrollable. It was just like, I just wanted to explode with so much energy.
Yeah.
And without the awareness, I just didn't know how to kind of like deal with it. So that's why I was fascinated, because I would definitely say, I don't know about other guys, whether they're aware or sensitive or whatever, they're just so busy right now trying to achieve and smash it in life, that if we do actually have, I reckon we have cycles. We have definitely cycles and moods that we go through. I would say, I don't know, maybe you could, it must be harder for a woman, not that I'm trying to separate us all, but if you've got children to look after, you've got, you know, all these things that you're doing, a man could kind of just get on with it, you know, or he goes down the pub and drinks it, you know, gets it kind of, covers it up. But for a woman, there's a lot of more responsibility sometimes for a woman in the family. It must be harder to go through this sensitivity or these cycles as a woman, or not? Or do you think it's a 50-50?
No, I do very much. And I think part of the reason it's harder is because women aren't aware that they're going through this cycle.
Yeah.
Women think that we just, I mean, I'm generalizing right now, but from my experience of working with women and sitting in thousands of circles, women basically, if I say the word menstrual cycle, they think period, they think bleeding. But actually we are in a whole cycle, from bleeding to bleeding. So there's the rest of that time we're not bleeding, that they just have, like, they think we're the same. And we're not. We are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually changing every single day throughout that cycle. So what I loved about what you just shared with your relation to the moon and tracking is that is what, in my world, I get women to do, is called menstrual cycle awareness practice.
Nice.
And it is where we notice how our energy levels and our emotions are changing on a daily basis by charting this. And then when you step back and you look at the chart, you can see the patterns, like you found your pattern, right? And this is where women can then find greater depth of knowledge about their body and understand their patterns, and understand from there, when we know ourselves more truly, we know how to support ourselves better. We know how to communicate our needs better. We know, like, it improves every part of our life when we have this awareness of what we actually need, and that we are a constantly evolving, changing being, and that what we needed last week may not work for us this week.
So different.
Can I give an example?
Yeah, please.
So for you, I don't know, let's explore, but
I'm about to get coached right now.
no, I'm actually like, maybe I want to use a standard man.
Standard man.
A standard man. So let's say there's an exercise. Let's say you go to the gym. How often do you go to the gym?
4 or 5 times a week.
Right. And every week it's kind of the same.
No, it's actually quite different. I always mix it up.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to use you. So like usually we as a society have like these weekly routines.
Yeah.
So I go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I do a HIIT class and I do spinning and then I do body pump, whatever. And week after week we do this, men and women. And what we know is that tends to work better for men because you're in that 24-hour cycle.
Yeah.
From the hormonal perspective. But for a woman, she's going through like 4 different phases of a cycle. So 1 week...
Maybe I should start identifying as a woman then, I think.
You could. You could do that. From what you shared,
I think
should.
already I'm an identity crisis right now.
Yeah, so we have like 4 different phases and our needs change, not just for any old reason, but because we have a different hormonal structure. And these hormones send different messages to our body. So at some points in our cycle, we have a faster metabolism, so we need more food. And at other times, we have a slower metabolism, so we'll find we need less food. So this is a common thing. Women will restrict themselves around food. And then when they feel hungrier because their hormones are doing a thing, they think, oh, I'm hungry, but I shouldn't eat more. And don't let themselves do that. But actually, there's a reason for that. This whole cycle is designed to create life. So it actually is very smart, and it has a lot of requests on our body, whether we're choosing to make life or not. It's doing that cycle every single month, you know?
Fascinating, isn't it?
It is fascinating. It's so intelligent, this system, and it's changing things in our body constantly. So our exercise needs are changing, right? And our diet needs are changing, and our sleep needs are changing. But if we are so like fixated on needing to be the same or needing to fit into some kind of box or paradigm, then this is when I find women will suffer with things like period pain or PMS, or so this is what usually is behind those reproductive conditions.
Guys, I know you're enjoying the video, but I've got a quick question for you. Are you okay with that monkey mind being a monkey? We've all got this voice inside the head, or voices filled with self-doubt, criticism, judgment. But most people don't understand how important it is to master that monkey mind. So look, if you've got a monkey mind or a voice that is just busy inside your head and it never seems to shut up, I know exactly how you feel. And thankfully, I found meditation about 20 years ago. And so, I have an amazing opportunity for you. It's the Bodhi Meditation Teacher Training Program. This 10-week program is designed to share with you 8 Bodhi meditations. And the amazing thing about these meditations is that they are scientifically proven to help you reduce stress, reduce anxiety, uplift your mood, boost your energy. In other words, create that kind of lifestyle, that energy and that health and that happiness that most people crave. Over the course of 10 weeks, I'm going to be your meditation coach. And at the end of this course, you're going to become a certified Bodhi meditation teacher. That means that you can coach people one-to-one, you can work from anywhere in the world, build online courses, or even teach meditation at yoga retreats or anywhere you decide. So click that link below and together will open up your heart so that you wake up feeling positive and literally this buzz for life. The link is below. Now you can get back to your video. Have an amazing day. Yeah, it's the intelligence is incredible. I think it's like, even when I speak to some friends, like guy friends, and they're feeling tired and they're just feeling exhausted and they don't know why. Maybe they're going through something or just whatever reason. You know, maybe they've overworked, or maybe they've just gone through a shift in some kind of energy. Like, I'm always like, you know, it's okay to chill.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to rest. And actually, I think that's probably the best advice you could give someone. Is like, just be.
Yeah.
Just be and let the intelligence do it. Because if you're really tired and you're going through something, like, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And if you're full of energy and you're ready to smash it and be productive, then use that as well. But
Exactly.
I think we are so trained in a society, like, you feel guilty for stopping.
Yeah.
And you feel guilty for feeling. And so then you've got, not only have you got the stuff that you're going through, the tired or the pains, you've then got the story that comes up in your head. And sometimes for me, the story is worse than the pain, the physical pain, because it tells you like you should be doing more and you should be doing this. And it's like, over the years for me, I'm just very good at now being. I'm like, no.
You mean you're a human being?
I'm a human being.
Wow,
yeah,
not a human doing.
Not a human doing anymore.
That's interesting. Good.
Good, huh? So yeah, I've really got comfortable with like, okay, you know what? You really are exhausted for a few days. Just chill.
Yeah.
And all the time, I don't know about you, but all the time I've done that, something amazing comes out of it.
For sure.
A download, an answer. It's amazing, right? We just need to come back to that intelligence.
And that is exactly why I think being a woman with a menstrual cycle is a gift, because we have a monthly physical reminder, something we can see that encourages us to just pause and drop and be. It's a reminder every month. Because yes, of course, men need rest too. Of course. So as a woman, I think we are blessed to have this reminder and this encouragement from our body.
Yeah. It's like an alarm, isn't it?
It is.
Ding dong.
Exactly.
Be for 3 days.
Yeah, I think it just takes courage to say, yes, I am going to prioritize myself a bit more during these days. I am going to say no to needing to, you know, like challenging those, I should be doing this and I can't take rest and I can't say no to my boss when he says, come for a dinner tonight, you know, like.
Which leads me on to the next point. How on earth did you get to being this kind of coach talking about this stuff?
Don't know.
Because you was working, you know, was it fashion or something?
Well, it depends how far back you want to go on my CV.
I've got your CV right here. Keep her away from coconut water.
Wow.
How did you get to be this person talking about this with this awareness? Because again, these podcasts for us really is for people that are not on Copenhagen.
Yeah.
They're in the 9 till 5, but they want to change and they want to listen to people that have made those changes. And I sit here and I talk to you and I only know you on this side of the fence, right? And you're such a beautiful human being and I love the way that you see things differently, the way you're talking about this stuff. But I'm sure it wasn't always that way.
No.
So how on earth did you get to be sitting around in circles talking about periods in this kind of way?
Yeah, it's funny. Never could have predicted it. And that's what I love about this. What can I share? So, I think, I was in the corporate world for 10 years. I was mostly working in law firms as a business development consultant. And as grateful as I am for these jobs and for all the amazing opportunities that it gave me, it was, for the last few years, very soul-destroying. And I was obviously doing something I didn't want to be doing. And I was kind of playing that game of, I'll just stick it out for another year, or just another year. And eventually I was like, I cannot do this anymore. And there was the fear of like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I was an avid yogi, and that was what got me through those times.
The yoga practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I would wake up in the morning and go to yoga every single day because I had to wake up to go to yoga. I couldn't wake up to go to work. I just couldn't. It was like so much resistance and sadness because I was just so displeased with the workplace. So waking up to go to yoga made it easier. And then after my yoga practice, I was more grounded and centered and connected and like feeling resilient for the day. And when I made the decision to leave, I was just leaning into trust. Like, it will be okay. I will find something because I know in life that has been my experience. I always am okay. So I decided I would do something for myself first. Rather than leaving and finding another job, the most important thing was to just spend a bit of time nourishing myself first. So I decided to do a yoga teacher training for myself. And I think this is quite a typical thing. I'm not doing it to teach, I don't think. I'm doing it for myself. But of course, by the end of it, I was like, yes, I want to teach. And so that's what I did. I went back to Australia and I started teaching classes like, just in the park and building my confidence and eventually made myself into a yoga teacher, whatever that means. And then went traveling and was teaching in retreat centers as I was traveling. That's actually how I ended up on Copenhagen. And then when I got here, I was realizing that something wasn't enough. Something didn't feel complete in my yoga practice. I've been practicing for 10 years by this point, but I was like, something is missing. And I think it wasn't like it was given to me as an answer, but what I discovered was that I wasn't connecting with my female body. I wasn't actually acknowledging my cycle. I wasn't acknowledging that I had a breasts and a womb, right? This isn't mentioned in yoga. If we do yoga nidra, we talk about all the points to relax, but we're not talking about these parts. And I also think the energy of the island, it's a very feminine island, and there's a lot of this work here. So I think that was also filtrating me. And I started moving away from traditional hatha yoga into womb yoga. So a lot of womb circular-based movements and a bit of Taoism. And through this, I realized the power of connecting to my womb and my cycle. And that's really when I went deep dive into all the books relating to menstrual cycle and on my own exploratory journey. And I just could not believe that I had, for 30 years, not had any awareness of my menstrual cycle. Like, it just blew my mind. I was like, how? And I had to share that with women.
It's amazing.
And that's how I did it.
I think of women now, I'm like, wow, yeah, most people don't know this stuff. It's mad, right?
Yeah.
Before you came to Copenhagen, because this is definitely a bubble. Before we got here, when you was in the corporate world, was you always into spirituality or meditation? Like, did you have any influence or not?
For sure. Yeah. So yoga and meditation. My dad actually meditates, and I remember him doing kind of breath work with me with a matchbox when I was young, you know? So like it was always kind of there. And interestingly, before I had any connection to my menstrual cycle, I was super connected to the moon. So for at least 5 years, the last 5 years in the corporate world, I would be using the moon every dark moon and full moon. I'd be doing some little ceremony by myself. And that was how I was still connected to the greater cycle. I just didn't have the menstrual cycle in my psyche then. And I think my flatmate reflected back to me, my flatmate that I lived with in Australia, she also shared that she wasn't surprised when she found out I did this work now, because she remembered me telling her to slow down and relax when she's on her period. And I was like, really?
You forgot about it.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. So it was kind of cool to know that I did have some, I guess, intuitive knowledge to it, but not from here. Not awareness, not like awareness of the awareness.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. I wonder whether the path has called you to it. You know, sometimes we feel like we're making these choices to be who we are, or whether it's like it's already set in stone.
It's set in stone.
Because when you look back, it's like, wow, the dots so connected.
Oh,
right?
wow. Yeah, totally. And so can I share something that we spoke about this the other day, and I said I would like to bring this up because when I was leaving the corporate world, I didn't know what I was going to do. And there's two choices. There's to stay in fear and not leave, or there's to take the great leap into faith and trust and leave. And that's what I did. And one thing that got me through that journey and to where I am now, if I can pinpoint it, is following what I call the shiny thing. Following the thing that just feels good in the moment, not needing to understand what that means and how that's going to lead me to my destiny of the career, you know? So for example, when I was in the law firm, because I was so in love with the moon and seeing how using the moon energy to set intentions and manifest was working well for me, I started holding women's circles in my house just to share this with other women. And I see now, looking back, that was the first time I started holding space for women. You know, and sharing wisdoms around the cycle. But it wasn't like I was doing it because I didn't think that will lead me to my career path. That will lead me to where I want to get to. I just did it because it felt good. And then I also started crafting dream catchers. And again, like selling them for like, I don't know, $5, £5 or something. And it wasn't like I was doing it for money. I was just doing it for joy. And there was some energy exchange in it. Again, if I had been practical about it, I might have been like, oh, I shouldn't do that. That's a waste of time. Like, that's not going to be my career. You know, I'm not going to make money, a living off of this. Yoga, you know, it's a super challenging world to like really thrive on just being a yoga teacher. But I just tried not to attach to that and just trusting that everything is navigating me to somewhere. And I feel the same now with this menstrual cycle education. Like, will I be this for lifetime? No, it's going to evolve into something else greater. And I'm just happy and enjoying the ride for now.
Mate, I totally relate to that. I think when we were speaking the other day, I was like, remember to say that. So I'm glad you shared that. Because sometimes it is just so simple as that. Like, the job is stressing me out. It's killing me. I'm exhausted. I'm not happy. But that little path over there, whatever it is, it gives me the goosebumps. I get the joy. Maybe, it's not going to bring all the money in and you don't understand it. And it's like going completely against everything. But I think if you don't follow that, you're going to be depressed or suffer for a long time. Like, I think life should be joyful. Life should be following those goosebumps. And it always, I don't know about you, but it always works out like 10 times better.
Oh, yeah.
Like, now you're here in Koh Phangan, like talking about this, and you just started off selling some dream catchers or teaching a bit of yoga and having these circles. Like, to me, this dream, living here, like, this is a million times better than what my little brain could have tried to work out. But when you trust and surrender, what do you think that is, trusting and surrendering? Is there a God? Is it a universe? Is it just like going with a flow? Because there must be an intuition within you that says, oh, this is light, this gives me the goosebumps or the shiny thing, let me follow that. But then the voice in the head's like, no, be sensible, what will other people think of you, but you need to make some money, how are you going to pay your bills? Like, that intuition, there's some intelligence that's guiding us, right?
Yeah, and that is exactly why I teach what I teach. I teach about the menstrual cycle so that women start looking deeper within at how they're changing all the time. But it's not really about the menstrual cycle. It's about learning to listen deeper to our intelligence within.
Giving me the goosebumps right now.
That is it. I don't know what it is, but I've learned to trust it, and I've learned to listen to it every darn day.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I think it's so important. Again, was there a way that you learned how to connect to that or start trusting? For me, it would be meditation. It would be going out in nature, turning the screens off, just sitting and being by myself. And I think over the years, now it's just obvious, but over the years that started to condition me to believe that more rather than the voices in their head, and trust the goosebumps more and more. So now it's like, I don't doubt it. It's like, it's just obvious. But at the beginning, like I didn't even know that existed. So for me, it was meditation and being in nature. Was there any practices for you that allowed you to trust more and connect more to this divine intelligence?
Yes. I don't know if it's one. I think it's many spiritual practices like meditation and yoga, and I think food was a big one for me. Like, it was just allowing so I took meditation and mindfulness into every area of life. That's what I think it is. Yoga isn't on the mat, it's into life. So I would do yoga, eating of yoga of eating, whatever. So, okay, what do I actually want to eat right now? And if I'm in a restaurant, looking at the menu and being like, what do I really want? And seeing what my body starts to like continuously look at or like salivate to, rather than just like choosing from the mind. Or like the practice was seeing, oh yeah, I really actually want that salad, but that doesn't make sense because I thought that I should have eaten this today, whatever. Or okay, a better example would be like, I want that jacket potato with beans and cheese, but I should have had a salad, but my body is really leaning to the potato. And there's two choices there, like trust what the body's saying, or like listen to the mind making all the rules about what you should or shouldn't eat. And so I started going with this and seeing how much it was paying off through energy levels, through clarity, through just feeling fulfilled. And there's so many practices, it's just all about listening. So yeah, wherever you choose to listen.
We was also talking about, which I loved what you said the other day when we was chatting, the paths, being in a job that you don't like and taking it, and you just kept it so practical. And I said to you, remember, we need to say this. What would you say to somebody else that's kind of where you was 5 or 10 years ago, whenever it was, that they don't trust at the moment? They don't really know much about the cycles or the moon, and they probably think we're a little bit bonkers right now.
Yeah.
But they are unhappy, maybe, and they're just in a job that doesn't fulfill them, or a relationship, or whatever it is. Like, and you said something. It was just like, what was it? Can you remember what you said?
I think it was to find the shiny things.
It was find the shiny
things. But if I want to be more practical, one of my favorite exercises that I definitely did is taking a moment to pause and really contemplate, what are the things that bring you joy? What are the things that bring you a sense of pleasure and expansion throughout the day? And that might be simply going outside of an evening and just looking at the moon for a minute or two. It might be just closing your eyes when you're outside and feeling the breeze on your face, or just looking out the window at the trees or a plant on the table. Like, I don't know, there's thousands of things that might bring you joy. Having a shower and just feeling like that water over your skin. These are simple moments that we can connect to that start to bring joy. Or it might be more bigger things like, yes, meditation, or...
I'm thinking skydiving.
Skydiving, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, so singing, I don't know. And making sure that you get those things in your day, because we have the choices, we have access to those smaller and mostly bigger things. Yeah. And this is awakening the soul, awakening the heart.
Mahatma Gandhi said something beautiful. He said that voice is always trying to talk to you and direct you and guide you. But the trouble is, most people don't sit and listen to it. And I think, again, I've got so many practices, but I'll always bring it back to meditation. For me, meditation is just when you're in stillness and quietness. Yeah. No music, no guru, no teacher. It's just you. And sometimes it's bloody painful. Yeah. You've got these feelings and emotions or sensations, and you've got a voice in your head that's barking 100 miles per hour. But if you just sit there and you just sit there and you just sit there and you sit there, in the end, that voice, what does start to get louder, the softer voice that Gandhi was talking about. But we do need to prioritize the practice. And I don't know about you, but I think my mental and emotional and spiritual health is probably the most important things on this planet. I don't give a shit what everyone else is doing. It's like, how do I feel good or do I feel depressed? And if I feel depressed, change it. If I feel good, do more of it. Which brings me on to the point of Koh Phangan. Why do you live on Koh Phangan, Jamie?
Oh, wow. Why?
Why this island? Not just because I'm here.
Yeah, nature is a big one. Just feeling like I'm constantly in nature, and nature is medicine to me. But I think it allows my life of freedom. Freedom is a core value for me, and that is what I feel most connected to here. You know, just being able to jump on a scooter and like driving over here today. Wow. I was like, what? This is my life. Just casually driving a scooter down the roads, up and down the hill, looking at the nature, feeling the breeze in my hair, like freedom.
It's just before you said about the scooter, it's the first thing that popped into my head. I
Yeah.
just saw you on a scooter.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching our videos and being part of the tribe. We're really here to raise consciousness, ignite your vibration, and help you master this monkey mind. And did you know that science has proven over and over again that one of the fastest ways to reprogram your mind is through positive affirmations and things like these Bodhi beads. They're a set of 108 mala beads that go round in a ring like this, and you practice positive affirmations to reprogram your brain. Science has also proven in a 30-day study that if you say the same affirmation and use a set of beads, then you can literally neurologically change the pathways in your brain. Now that means any of those limiting beliefs that you've got around money, around love, around health, you can change them if you repeat a certain affirmation that I am wealthy, I am loved, I am healthy. And that's why we've created a set of 8 powerful meditations where you do one meditation every day with me personally for 30 days. And you use your beads in your hand, and each time you use the affirmation, you roll your thumb and your finger around on these beads. These meditations are videoed, or you can download the MP3s, put them on your phone, and literally go to bed at night time rolling your Bodhi beads. These Bodhi beads are handmade with love in Thailand by a local family. We ship them free to anywhere in the world, and plus we donate 10% of all of our profits to an elephant sanctuary here in Thailand. So click the link below, make sure you sign up right now because we're actually going to give you a 20% discount code. All you need to do is when you go to the checkout is type in I love Bodhi, and that will give you a 20% discount on your first purchase of Bodhi beads. Have an amazing day. Now you can get back to the video. See you soon. I think freedom is the goal beneath all of the goals in humanity. Like, you want more money because you've got more choice and freedom. You want to be in love so you can be free and be your authentic self. You want to lose weight so you can feel free. I think the goal beneath everything that we're doing, whether it's building a house, whether it's building a podcast, whatever it is, it's like because we want to just taste more freedom.
Yeah.
I think it's that's the transcendence for me. You go to higher levels of consciousness, which basically just means more freedom. And there is nothing for me, the same as you, there's nothing better than jumping on a motorbike, driving through the jungle, seeing all these different coloured tropical birds flying. And I'm just like, this is my life. This is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But again, what about people that are nowhere near this? Because something that I sometimes get, people say, oh, your life is amazing, you're so lucky. And I'm like, there's just no luck involved. I think you might be able to play with these laws of the universe when you start making the choices, and maybe you get more opportunities or quote unquote luck when you make certain choices. But at the beginning, I had to make a lot of sacrifices and a lot of choices, and you had to have a lot of discipline. So what would you say, where would be the first place for anyone to begin if they are so far away from driving a motorbike on Koh Phangan and they're really stuck? How could they create more freedom?
That's a good question.
I know, I asked it.
Wow, I think it's so unique. I don't think it's that one thing will be the thing for everyone. It's about maybe, again, meditating on what is freedom for me and when can I access moments of freedom in my day. So that's going to be different for everyone. Like, for sure, nature, I think, is a universal thing. Like, we are part of nature, and so when I connect to nature, I feel more in my authenticity and more connected to freedom. So I think everyone has access to nature. Even if I'm sitting in this room, I can just be meditating with this plant, you know?
You know, I used to poke my head out the prison. Well, I used to put it through the prison bars just to breathe.
Wow.
And I had never had a clue I'd be all this hippified now and talk about nature and stuff. And I used to do that in a prison cell. So you're right. Unless you're in a hole and you've got no windows, if you've got some bars and you can just put your head out and you can just breathe and can see a tree, the nature is everywhere. You're so right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love what you said, though. I really like that. I think people need to understand, like, the way I would answer that question is what you've already said, is first step is awareness.
Yeah.
Like, actually, look at what you're not happy with in life. Look at where you feel stuck. Look at what's making you feel anxious or panicky or addicted to something. They're warning signs to show you that you're not aligned. When you're aligned, you're alive.
Yeah.
When you're truly aligned, you're alive. So sometimes it's not all the living on a beach and eating ice creams and riding a motorbike. Sometimes it's like, no, I really hate my job. No, I'm really in this relationship which is not working. No, there's someone. So then look at that, get real, roll your sleeves up, look at that. Then you can create change from there. Because sometimes it's not always so fluffy, you know?
For sure. I think one of the things that helps to do that is to access a bit of that feeling. So to access a bit of that freedom, there's no right or wrong, and they both can coexist at the same time. Like, roll your sleeves up, look at the stuff that's blocking you from feeling freedom, and like tackle that, and at the same time find and access a bit of this freedom. So when we feel something, it gives us a taste of what we want, or it gives us motivation as well. So I don't know, I feel this is also maybe universal, but like just watching a bird fly in the sky and imagining you're that bird and just tapping into that energy for a moment and being like, wow, it feels so free just to be flying up there, no worries, you know? Or like looking at a cat and just being like, what a chill, like I want to just feel like that. You know, it is easy. It's a choice to feel certain ways. So leaning into that, like, freedom.
Yeah.
In a way that you can.
And another way you could do it is visualize, right? Maybe you are somewhere really stuck right now and you're not in a position that you'd love to be in, but you could dream about being on the beach.
Yeah.
You could dream about it in 1 year or 2 years. And that's what's always propelled me forward.
Yeah.
Like my vision or the vision or wherever it's come from, I have no idea. Like that's always excited me to make the changes, to go through it, or like you said, just feel it for a moment, even though it's not real. But in the mind, the mind doesn't know the difference between what reality is and what's not real. And you would feel it, and then you'd get the goosebumps, and you're like, well, of course I'm going to take action to create that reality.
Yeah.
And I just would like to share that with everybody. It's like, if you can see it in your mind, you can definitely turn it into a reality. If I can do it and you can do it, anyone can do it, right?
For sure.
Yeah. There's some great books by, I don't know if I can't remember the author's name. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. Do we know the guy's name?
Man's Search for Meaning.
Viktor Frankl. He was the guy that was in the concentration camps. For some reason, I really like those books. And there's another one called The Choice by Edgar Eder. And both of them survived the concentration camps. And they both said that it was a choice. The freedom was in your mind.
Yeah.
And so I always bring those up, because when some people go, yeah, but you don't know what it's like for me, you know, it's hard. And I'm like, no, that's your victim mentality.
Yeah.
And as much as I love you, I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't say, wake up and get out of the victimhood, you know, because that's what keeps you trapped. And if those people that have been through such, can't even think of that word, but such kind of pain and trauma can then say, no, we had to make a choice in our mind to see it in a different way. And then they wrote these books about it and created these therapies around it. I'm just like, wow, like anybody can do it, I believe. You know, so yeah, it all starts. It's a cheesy one, but it all starts within, right?
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
So, some tips. Maybe it can be any tips that you feel. Maybe you can share some tips for some women that could go into this, or tips for guys, or if you just want to share some tips to people that are at home listening on, maybe they want to come to Thailand and drive motorbikes. What would you say? What would be a nice little practice? You said something about ceremonies as well and sitting.
Yeah.
So I've got two questions then.
Okay.
Yeah, what are ceremonies and sitting? Or circles, you said?
I said many things.
You did.
Okay, so where should we start? Let's see. Yeah, I can share something about the moon, because it's genderless. I do love the moon. So on a dark moon, when it is dark, it is entering its new cycle. And when it is in that dark phase, it is the time to set your intentions, the time to plant your seeds, if you like. So to really think about, what is it that I want to create in my life? And what is it that I want to manifest? And by manifest, I just mean like make happen to a certain degree. So it might be as simple as I want to meditate every day. That is something I want to commit to. And when we set these intentions, we write them down, because this is just a bit more energetically like reaffirmed. And we write them like, I am meditating every day. So it's already happening. So what I found, and I do believe it was a big part of helping me build the courage to leave, was every cycle doing this and setting small, achievable intentions. Not like, I'm going to leave my job in the next month and then find my new career. Like it's too big. There's a part of us that has to be able to believe this as well. So those small incremental steps that help us to getting to where we want to get to. So breaking it down like small action plans, if you like. So this is one thing that I think is amazing for humans to do. It's important, like we know this, we do this in the business world. We set like a goal plan, an action plan for what we want to do, yeah. Right? So why wouldn't we do it for ourselves? And why wouldn't we do that when it's aligned with more of a universal supportive energy? That's the way I see it. So you can see it as woo-woo, you can just see it as like, it's actually really practical. It's just really like,
it's just exactly. Common sense. An architect will like create a plan and draw the house before they start even building it, right? Yeah. It's just like, but most people don't do that for their lives.
Yeah.
And what I love is when you put your focus somewhere, your attention somewhere, that's where the energy goes.
Exactly.
It's so common sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the nice thing to do, if you remember, is on full moon, just to look back at those intentions and being like, okay, what do I feel is already happening? Amazing. I did sit down and meditate every day the last 2 weeks. Or maybe I missed one day. Okay, that's all right. No worries. I'm doing a really awesome job still. Let's carry on. So you can, and it doesn't mean that every single thing you write down has to happen, but it is about setting those intentions, which allows us to take greater action towards them.
Mm. Do you do that every cycle, like every month? Is it every month?
Every month. Yeah? So the moon cycle is every month. I don't do it with the moon anymore every month. I do it with my moon every month. So when I am on my period, this is when I set, because I am literally entering a new cycle. So I sit down when I'm on my period and I reflect on what's gone really well in the previous cycle, things that I could have done better, and things that I want to set intentions for the next cycle ahead. Mm. And then when I'm ovulating, I do some special manifesting rituals. Magic. Exactly. Ovulation magic.
Ovulation magic. That could be that. Too. That could be a title of a book. Ovulation magic. It's amazing. So, mate, where can people find out? I mean, is there anything else you want to share?
No, I think that's good.
Was that the tip?
That's
great. It was a great tip. And I don't think you have to be a woman on a period to be able to sit down and use your tip. Like, no. For me, I'm all about writing stuff down and intention setting. Yeah. Sometimes I walk on the beach and I'm just like, I don't know if you've ever done this, and this is probably going to sound weird, but you're just walking on the beach and your legs are moving. And I'm like, I'm not actually telling my legs to move. Mm. Like, you're not going left, right, left, right, left, right. But something's moving my legs, right? And the only explanation is there's some kind of intention that makes you run, walk, eat, do whatever you do. And we can tap into that.
Yeah.
Like the same power that creates life, the same power that's creating this universe is buzzing within you. Like, that's insane to me. And when we go beyond the stories and the narratives and start to really meditate on that you are that true, powerful being and your intention creates that reality, like, you're so free. Not going to always be easy, but you've got an upper hand. And then, you can create a reality that you want. So I love that. I love that you can sit down every month. It's kind of like a little check-in with yourself. Mm-hmm. And you're right. I've had some amazing business coaches, and they are so on. Every week you review your week. Every Sunday, I do it now still. Mm-hmm. I get down a piece of paper. I write down like what went right in business, what would I like to improve on. And I think if you do that with your life, like, you're going to achieve what you want to achieve, or just be free more. So thank you, mate. Where can people find out about you? Do you have any courses online? Have you got Instagram accounts?
I'm on Instagram.
Are you on Instagram?
I'm on IG.
With the cool kids.
Is it still the cool thing?
Oh, I call it the gram now.
The gram.
I call it the gram.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm on the gram. You probably put it in the handle, right? But it's cyclical.living.woman. Cyclical living for women with dots in between.
Do you know your gram?
Cyclical living for women with dots in between.
And I was the one that was getting tongue-tied at the start.
Yeah, exactly.
Tables have turned. We'll put everything down underneath the video.
Amazing, yeah.
Jamie, it's amazing to chat with you, mate.
And you, thanks for
You've
having
got
me here.
such an amazing energy.
Thank you.
And again, I really mean that when I said that. I love when I meet people on my little adventures, when they just think differently to the normal way. And it was sometime in Delhi Devi, wherever it was, that you said, no, I really see my period as a gift. And I was like, whoa, I've never heard that before. And then when I got to know you and even talking to you more now, it's beautiful work that you do because you can really help people heal and, again, make people feel okay with feeling like this stuff that's going on as being a human, where we are so taken away of being a human and having these feelings. You're reminding people, no, it's all right.
Yeah.
Chill out, feel your stuff, go through it, talk to the moon. We're not mad. Just a bit.
We may as well be mad. Why not?
Do you know what, mate? I don't know about you, but I think I'd rather be this mad than getting up, getting up at 9 till 5, doing that mad stuff, listening to the news and stuff. Like, there's a great teacher, Yogi Nityananda, and he says, when you've got a society or a system that's run by people that are asleep, you're always going to have a sleepy society. And it's never left me. I'm like, wow, when I watch stuff, whatever's going on now in the news about gender, about racism, about life and politics, I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, you're all wasting so much energy when you could just go inside and feel so beautiful and loved and that divine. So this is the madness that I enjoy. So thank you for sharing your madness with our madness.
Pleasure.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Hello viewers, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm hoping that you enjoyed it just as much as we enjoyed making it. We love this adventure we're on, we love growing this community, and we would love you to actually help us. So I've got a favor to ask you. Make sure that you subscribe below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and turn that notification button on, because that actually helps us with the algorithm. In other words, it's going to help us reach more people and spread this ripple effect. And I really appreciate your time and energy for watching any video. So if you've got any comments or questions or queries, make sure you pop them in the box below. By subscribing, you are going to be one of the first people to know when we release new content. If you really want to take your journey and your growth to the next level, make sure you watch this next video and have an amazing day. Once again, thank you so much for your time and your energy. See you in the next video.